Hi guys, so today I have a Land Rover Defender. The customers brought the vehicle in to have the cubby box and centre console wrapped in vinyl, so it's not going to be leather. The seats are leather, but they want the console to be wrapped in vinyl, a matching colour. Dash top, lower dash, and the door cards. Oh, and also the sun visors to be done as well. So that's all I'm going to be doing on this car, but today I'm going to get the centre console out, which probably means removing part of the dash anyway to get that out. And I'm going to start by wrapping this. This is going to be quite a complicated little thing. Once I've got it out, I'll show you what it looks like and the issues I'm going to have with it and how I'm going to get around those issues. Right, I've now got the cubby box centre console out of the Defender. It's quite a complex shape, but I'll go into that in a minute. What I need to do first is I'm going to remove the lid from the cubby box, get that out of the way. It's got a CD changer inside, I'll remove that as well. Now I'm assuming that this insert in this lid comes away. I hope it does. I hope it's a separate piece. It is a separate piece, so there's probably screws in it somewhere that will take the insert out. But we shall see. I hope it's not bonded together. It might be, but it might not be. I'll put that to one side. I don't need that in a minute. So that's everything now removed from this centre console. My first main issue is these little cup holders here. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but it's impossible for it to look nice if I try and cover all of this in the vinyl that I'm going to wrap the whole of this in. There's just too many little recesses and bits and bats. You can probably understand with this shape, it would just be a very messy shape. Seams would be really close together. There'd be so many pieces to actually get to be correct for that to look nice. Would just be an absolute nightmare. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm not going to cover this bit here. I'm going to bring all the vinyl to a point just inside where the curves of it all are. I'm going to 3D print an insert that goes in there that will hide the vinyl. So that's my first job. I'm going to just measure all this up. I'll design this in 3D CAD software, and then I'll print a test print to go in here. And chances are the first print won't be perfect. It'll probably need tweaking, but that's my first job. And then I'll leave it at that for now. Obviously I'm going to do the print, so I'll probably do that tonight at home. Once I know it fits, I'm completely happy with that, I can get on and do the rest. So I think I've got all the measurements that I need, hopefully. So I printed the cup holder insert, and like I said earlier, that I didn't think the first print would actually be correct, and I was right, it's not. It won't actually fit in. So what I've done, I've took a few more measurements of this and the place it's going, and I've adjusted the CAD drawing. Obviously this is just half a print. It was easier to do half a print, and then once this print is correct in exactly the right place, what I'll do is I'll mirror this half onto here, and it should fit in. Hopefully. So at the minute the second print is on the go, and it should be ready in a couple of hours. So while that's printing, what I'll start to do now is start to pattern the rest of this. I'm going to put tape onto it and draw lines on the tape, because I can't actually draw lines on here and see the lines because it's black. I'll use a black marker pen, the lines will just disappear. Now that the tape's on, what I'm going to do is just draw some lines, put match marks on, and then I'll pattern it. It is going to be very tricky, this, not going to lie to you. There's a good chance that I'm probably going to have to do this twice. As I go along, as I cut each piece out and then sew the relevant piece to it, I will offer it back up to this and just keep double checking everything, make sure everything is right. So what I'll probably do this side as one piece, and then I'll do the back as a separate piece, and then the other side as a separate piece. So that's the second piece. So I've just got now this side, the front bit here and the back to do, and that will be done. all the patterning's now been done, so I'm just going to cut the pieces out. Once I've cut all the pieces out, I'm going to offer them up to the centre console. Just double check everything. If everything's okay, I'll sew them together. Once I've sewn them together, I will do a little test. I won't sew everything together at once. I'll sew a couple of pieces together, then I'll check them pieces against the console, and then I'll sew another piece, check it again, until I've got all the pieces together and I know everything is alright. I'll probably need to do a bit of top stitching on some of it, not completely decided where yet, and then I can glue it all together and hope it all works. See how we get on. So as always, I'll cut the largest pieces out first, the longest ones, which will be the two sides. And as always with vinyl, I can't pin the pattern to the vinyl, so I'm just going to tape it down. So I've now cut the pieces out. I'm going to sew this top piece to this front piece here first. So the back piece to both the sides, and then so the sides to this top piece. The piece that I was more concerned about was this piece here, whether this piece was going to act the way I wanted it to. And I think we'll be alright. Put the match marks on the back of the vinyl. I need to cut them in. Sewing now on the cover. I've placed it over the centre console upside down or inside out. I'm going to put glue all over this cover, let the glue go off completely, and then I will start to try and stick it down. I need to spray the console itself as well, but what I'll do is I'll spray this first, leave that for a little while, let the glue not be tacky anymore. I'll remove this cover, put it to one side, and then I'll spray up the console, leave that for a little while, and then I'll start to glue everything down. So what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to get this seam that runs along the top here as straight as I can. Now I've got the patterning plastic underneath that I made the pattern from, so it doesn't stick, so it makes it easier to manipulate the vinyl. Once this top bit is in place, I can start working down the sides and then this front bit here. But this is just a case of manipulating it. Now that I've got it into roughly the right position, what I need to do next is to start to steam it in place. Now I've still got the patterning plastic underneath here for now. I'm just going to steam this edge and get that actually stuck down properly. I'll work my way around, and then once I've done this top edge here all the way around, I'll remove the plastic. I'm going to remove the plastic. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to use this board that I've cut, and this board will fit in this recess here. There, I'm going to clamp it into position, so I'm going to warm this vinyl up a lot and then put a couple of clamps on and clamp that down. So that is most of that done. It just needs trimming, tucking underneath. The 3D print didn't come out too well. I had a bit of a print failure, but the fit now is okay, so we should be fine when I print a new one of those to fit in there. I will do it black. There's plenty of black things on this. So the next thing, once I've done all the trimming on this and tucking the leather underneath, would be to do the lid. So the lid is pretty straightforward. Well, I wouldn't say straightforward, but compared to the rest of it, it's relatively straightforward. And then that will be done. Now I still need to do the door cards, dash top, dash bottom, and sun visors yet, and I'm going to do a new gaiter as well.